Welcome to the Paradigm Shift, episode 88. My goodness, with a special, unique, innovative new time for one night only. Just waiting for my partner in crime, Big Dave, the adorable applesauce eating blessed bat, to hop on and let's get this party started. We got a very special guest. I see him on here already, Big Evan. We're going to bring you on in less than 5, brother, and I can't wait. Let's get nuts. Everybody's out today. How's everybody Saturday doing? I want to know in the chat right now from 1 to 10 what your current state is, because me and Big Dave take accountability to have you flying 10 out of 10. Dave, I see you. I'm bringing you on right now. You sex kitten. Is this cat going to look? Let's find out. Yeet. Let's get crazy. How you doing, Big Dave?
I'm good, man. I'm not going to miss. I'm here at 2 in the morning in Jeddah, in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia.
You take consistency and commitment to a whole nother level, don't you?
I make a commitment to my boy. I'm going to show up. Like I told you, thanks for waiting for me to get off the plane.
Absolutely. Episode 88. Any thoughts?
88's a lucky number in China. It's a lot of luck that I ran into you, and you and I have built a great community of people trying to help each other, knowing people to help each other. And the guests keep on getting bigger and better. And this is one of my old homies. We've been friends a long time. So I'm excited to reconnect with Evan.
Yeah, we're going to bring him on in just a minute. I'm really excited to connect with him too. But let's get started. We're going to get nuts. You ready for me?
I'm ready for you.
Looking at your content this week, as I do for so many reasons, it's super helpful and obviously entertaining because no one's more handsome. You were talking about staying in a state of inspiration. I think this is a big one that the audience should hear tonight, Dave.
Yeah, I think, understanding inspiration, utilizing our intellect, intuition, and understanding ego allow us to stay in the flow. And I, have elevated an understanding, I'm looking at influencers, spreading the flu. The flu is a disease. They're spreading disease. And I'm an influencer trying to get people to understand, to be in the flow, to live inspired in spirit and figure out what they're doing to create that disease. And I think there is a big distinction in inspiration, motivation, influencers and influencers. And I'm trying to inspire more people, empower more people like you to be an influencer, to get rid of that ego and go ahead and live in the flow.
Hell yeah, beautifully said. And I love that you first of all, you're the best when it comes to articulation. Is that a word? Articulation sounds
Why
good.
not?
But in flow, and so I love when you do that, and that's a paradigm shift in itself. And so beautifully said. I appreciate that 100%. I'm going to bring on Evan right now, but before I tell the audience what you're doing out there, Dave.
Yeah, I'm blessed to be speaking at a World Summit in Ayula. So I'll be speaking. They're bringing in, I think, 100 leaders around the world that may be here for the World Cup, and a 2-day extravaganza in the oasis of Ayula. And we're in Jeddah right now, and we'll be leaving tomorrow morning to get over there for the event.
Yeah. There he is.
What's up, guys?
Thank you for joining us, brother.
Ready to do this. Let's go. I'm excited.
When's the last time I saw you, man? What's going on?
Last time I saw you was like early morning. You were a sweat machine, just finished your run, and we went for breakfast somewhere close to your house.
At Corky's. That was pre-COVID, or was it during COVID? That was a long time.
I don't remember, dude. I think it was pre-COVID. I think it was like just before COVID.
Oh my God. Good to see you, Evan.
Yeah, man. Likewise.
Talk about a reunion. Evan, this is the first time you and I are connecting, but I'm super excited too. Dave, you're usually the one I call a flexible fox to, but Evan, thank you for joining us at this remix of a time on Saturday night. We're just going to dive right in. For our community, in case you're not familiar with Evan, do a deep dive. Check out all this content, everything he's got going on. It's awesome. What's going to be most productive right now is we just have a great conversation. Evan, I was looking at your content too. I'm such a fan. And one of the things that you consistently talk about is playing a much bigger game and building an empire and not just being a talent for hire. This really hit home for me. Tell us what you mean by that.
Yeah, I mean, I did a piece of content today talking about Michael Jordan and, Dave in the sports world. And I know he's passionate about helping athletes become entrepreneurs too and not just being talent for hire. So Jordan, a lot of people don't know Jordan's a billionaire. right? Like Michael Jordan's a billionaire, 1.6 billion, the last valuation. And he only made 80 something million only made 80 something million, you know, in his playing career, and like 63 million in his last 2 seasons. So like he was really, really underpaid. Like it was just a different era at the time. But so how is he a billionaire? Like if he only made 80 something million, how is he a billionaire now? Well, because he's a part owner of the Charlotte Hornets, and he made the deal with Nike. And this year, Nike paid him 100 million in royalties, like just this year. And I don't know how old he is and how long he's been out of the game, but it's just a different level of thinking to not just be a talent for hire, just be somebody who, you know, entrepreneurs out there. It's a great place to start, because if you're not making enough money, hey, go out and sell your time, create a service, start making some money. But then as you're making money, now we got to start thinking a bigger game. You know, when Dave comes on talking about helping people get into flow instead of into flu, I like that. Like he's trying to help people level up and build empires, right? And so just anytime I see a story like that, it's inspiring to me, and it always makes me want to level up as well. And so I thought I'd share with my community and see what they thought.
I agree 100%. Dave, talk about the same frequency, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, Evan understands self-image, and we can never overachieve our own self-image. And if we don't empower people to look at themselves in a higher regard, talking about frequency or vibration, elevating other people, not just with encouragement, but with the understanding on how to improve their skill set, which is something Michael Jordan did on and off the field. Even though he was born with extraordinary talent for the court, he wasn't born with extraordinary talent for business off the court. He helped and got help in that area. And so looking at how we can elevate people's skills, their knowledge, and the desire, which as it encompasses an essence or that frequency, and you know that spirit of excellence that Michael Jordan had, he only could do one thing when he quit playing, was carried over, just like Kobe Bryant did, just like Magic Johnson did. We see it again and again, that the spirit itself, that inspiration that we were talking about earlier, allows people to develop by paying attention and giving all 5 levels of intention to the coincidences they want to overachieve, but they cannot overachieve that self-image. So they have to believe with confidence and coincidence what they want, and it has to be big. You can tell me anything you guys want, including my mission in life, right? Yeah, people are like, oh my God, over 1 billion people to be happy. And then the truth is it's over 1 billion, right? Because if I said 1 billion, then somebody could say, why not 1,000,000,001, right? Or why not 2 billion? But yet some people can't even fathom 1 billion. They're stuck in 1,000 or 100. And so I think it's really important what Evan teaches and how he gets people to overachieve their own self-image.
Yeah. I love this, and it's like always playing chess. I love that both of you do that so well, and I just found out that Evan does it so successfully. Is always thinking 10 moves ahead, right? It's like almost like that never arrive mentality. How can we leverage this, or in workout terms, superset this with that? Always just looking at it from a different perspective, right, Evan?
Yeah, and I think we're so fortunate now to have so many role models. You know, like Dave had a fire piece of content on his IG, like today or yesterday. He's on stage, you know, getting all excited, which is great. You've seen Dave in his element is fun to watch. But it's basically just saying, hey, the fastest way to get somewhere is like find somebody who's already done it and like have them guide you and take you there. And it's great that we have, you know, athletes have a Michael Jordan now and a Magic Johnson to look up to and say, well, look, they've done it. It's great that entrepreneurs have a Dave Meltzer to look at and say, this is a path, right? Like Craig gets mentored by Dave. Craig would still make it on his own, but like can get there so much faster with Dave and the support and the guidance. And so what I try to do with the YouTube channel and my content too is I share my experience, but also try to bring in, hey, here's something you can learn from Oprah, and here's something you learn from Steve Jobs. Like the path has been laid out. People have done this. Whatever the thing is that you want to do, it's been done before. The level of thinking, the vibration that you want to play at, like it's all been done before. And people are now sharing it way more than ever. So like pay attention to who you're following. Pay attention. If you think Instagram is a waste of time and it's sucking all your energy, well, you're just following the wrong people. Because if you're following Dave Meltzer, like you're not going to feel like it's a giant waste of time. Like you should leave inspired, educated, motivated. Like that's possible, but you're watching the wrong stuff. You're following the wrong people. It's like do an audit, not just in your life, like in your life for sure, but you get to choose. Like, you don't get to choose your family for the most part, right? But you get to choose who you follow on Instagram. You get to choose who you follow on YouTube. Are you making that choice consciously? Or are you just kind of succumbing to whatever news is making you more scared and more terrified and lowering your frequency and leading to not get results, and then 2 hours have gone by and you're still kind of scrolling, right? So you get to pick. And it's being conscious of who you're following by doing a really solid audit.
What an awesome point, right? Like, for anyone that shows up on your feed, they're showing up because, unless it's the algorithm's going crazy, because you made the choice to follow them. And if there's people on your feed that don't necessarily bring value, this is a good opportunity, as Evan said, to maybe do an audit, right? And cut some of the fat, so to speak, so you're around more people that are on your frequency or the frequency that you want to be in as we get closer to the new year, right, Dave?
Yeah, especially this year, that audit of, is this something that feeds me or is this something that bleeds me? Is this an investment in or an expense of? These are two easy criteria to do an audit with. And as we look to see if something feeds us or bleeds us, we can start then prioritizing by only one thing, what we want personally, experientially, giving and receiving. See, the biggest issue is a lot of people may not even know what they want. So they're just more floating in the ocean. And guess what? All of that negativity will just attract more of that negativity, that drain, that bleed. So I really want to encourage people to take inventory first on what they want, then do an audit. Does it bleed me or feed me? Aligned with what I want, in a trajectory of what I think I want. And it's really, I think it's a key component. It's a foundational principle that the most successful people like Evan, you, and other people that I work with, they all know. If I ask them right now, so what's going on, man? What is it you're working on? They don't even blink, and they're telling me like 18 things. Where when people aren't focused on what they want, you're like, what's going on? I don't know. I'm kind of looking for my why. You got your why, man. Go apply your why by figuring out what you want. Find someone that's already there and ask them for directions.
Yeah, this is unbelievable stuff. Only negative I got going on is we don't have 10 hours to chat, but I think we'll just get warmed up. It's for the audience listening tonight, and we're going to obviously send out the replays. This is absolutely priceless. I want to shift gears for a second. Evan, you have a brand new book called Momentum. I love the word momentum. I think it's the hardest thing to get and the easiest thing to lose. Why the book Momentum, and why now, brother?
I actually wasn't planning on writing the book at all. Built to Serve was my book. I was like, it's still the book. And then I did a session with my now business partner, Kira, and we did an IG Live together, and she kind of pulled it out of me. And this idea just came out, like momentum. That's the book. I often tell people the only thing they're missing is momentum. Like, you have the heart, and you have the idea, and you have the willingness to serve, and like, you're doing it for the right reasons, and you deserve to make money. What's missing? Just momentum. Like, you're overthinking, you're over planning, you're just over, and you're not doing enough. Like, momentum. And so she challenged me to write the book in 8 weeks. My first book took me a year to write. And then she said, well, when are you going to start? And the book's called Momentum, right? It's like, of course I have to start now. Like, I'm going to start next week. I'm going to start in a month. Like, no, I have to eat my own dog food. And so I wrote it like, I got off the call with her at 3 p.m. Eastern and just started writing. And I wrote it in 5 days. Like, this book was written in 5 days, and we ended up having it published in 8 weeks. And so when you're to Dave's point of, like, when you're in the right frequency and around the right people and hitting the right vibration, like, you can create magic. And if you're not, it's because you're in the wrong frequency, around the wrong people, and you have the wrong thinking in your head too.
Yeah, and Dave, when you talk about momentum, it reminds me of, like, when you talk about the construct of time, like it right? You can, like, quantum leap when you have that momentum.
Yeah, I mean, momentum is an aspect of clearing the interference, which is fearance, F-E-A-R, clearing what's interfering with you and your potential. Momentum is accessing, or I think, discovering your potential. And so discoverability has been a big word here in the fourth quarter for me. And as you did your IG, Evan, with no intent and starting the IG about writing a book about momentum, but after the IG, you now had this discoverability, you had this inspiration, intellect, and intuition, that it took you 5 days to go ahead and codify that momentum that you were feeling, that inspiration, that influence, I should say, of, wait a second, this is not that hard. And why could you do it in 5 days? Because you did it already in a year. And, being someone who writes books that way now, that first book took me a year and a half. But now understanding how to create the momentum. And the first step is the best. I love the fact that you didn't write the book procrastination because you still be waiting on that one. But you know, I love the fact that he's like, shit, I'm gonna write a book about momentum. It's like the guy who writes a book about getting started and he's still getting started. Yeah, I think it's really critical though. That's why we, you know, came up with paradigm shift though. It comes down to the M. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, worthy. I am, and it's faith that tells us I'm connected to and through the infinite, all-knowing, abundant source. And I just got to figure out what I'm doing to interfere with it. And when you start surrounding yourself with Kira, people who are encouraging you, that are inspiring you, it's amazing what we start intentionally producing in our lives and how accessible we are to others.
Yeah, listen, I'm a big believer that the ideas that come to you when you're feeling bold, excited, powerful, inspired, like those are the right ones for you. And then we spend most of our time talking ourselves down from like why we can't do those things. So if you're watching a Craig video or a Dave video, you're hanging out and you get inspired, like that idea, that's your best version talking to you. And you owe it to you to go do something and take the first step. Like you get inspired to go start your own IG live or your own YouTube channel. Awesome. Like just make a video. People get caught up in like, well, what camera and what microphone and what am I going to talk about? And then it's like, it's over. It's over. Like just press record and make your first video. That's the first step. And that's like, people take a decade to get to the first step. That's the problem. So the ideas that come to you when you're feeling bold, those are the right ones for you.
Yeah, and don't listen to people with no credentials, right? Like what bothers me the most, and you know, with my kids, they'll take some input from someone. I'm like, so what's their credential? Right? Well, you know, so and so said I shouldn't do this. Okay, so what are they doing? And it's amazing how so many people that try to stop you from doing or pursuing your potential, creating momentum in your life, have no potential and no momentum in their lives. What have they done? What, you know, like if Warren Buffett's going to tell me what to do in investing, I'm going to listen. He has really, exactly, I'll double ear it, man, like this, right? But like, you know, the guy shining my shoes at the airport telling me to invest in, you know, AMC, what's his credential? Or telling me I can't do something, right? I mean, literally, it's the most embarrassing thing for people. Make sure that if you're going to take advice from people, they sit in a position you want to be in and they have credentials, at least to have some sort of value that you can utilize, whether it's aligned or not aligned with your beliefs and your dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, just to bounce off that, I think a lot of times it's ourselves. It's not even other people. Like you come up with a great idea. I'm going to do this thing. This is so excited. Oh my God, I'm going to write my own book. This is great. And then you wake up the next day, it's like, oh, I can't write a book. Like, who did I think I was? I'm crazy. Like, before we even tell our friends or spouse, or it's us talking to ourselves, telling us why we can't do it. So like, when you hit that vibration, you got to do something and take the first step while you're in it, instead of just planning and getting excited, and then tomorrow you wake up and it's gone.
This is awesome. I just want to acknowledge you too. Like I'm a fly on the wall right now, listening to you guys go back and forth. I can only imagine the audience. We'll end the plane with this. Evan used the word boldly before, and I think that's so special. And I know you often talk about showing up more boldly. And
I know he said bald. He said baldly.
Yeah, that I got down. That's easy, guys. I got the recipe down.
Dave, you just couldn't resist.
I love Evan, man. I know
I don't know how he's so sharp at 2 a.m. That's what I'm jealous of, Dave. That's great.
Grass doesn't grow on a busy street. That's why he's bald.
Yeah. Ev, what is one way somebody who's listening tonight could show up more boldly?
Ask yourself, what would the boldest version of you do? Like that's actually one of the chapters in the book is like, ask yourself, what would the boldest version of you do right now? And all of a sudden it like cuts away all of the excuses and all the reasons and all the stuff that we believed of why we can't do it, right? Like you're stuck on a decision. Cool. You can go A or B. What would the boldest version of you do? Feel that, and then the answer becomes obvious.
I just felt that. You, Dave?
Yeah, I think of being protected and promoted. When I think about being bold, it goes beyond of what the boldest self. It's this idea of something so big is, you know, loves me more than my mom. I just go to faith when I think about being bold. What's walking with me at all times and loves me so much, and I have unlimited potential, but I'm being protected and promoted. Why do I feel like I'm being punished or pursued? And I think if we could shift that mindset, that paradigm, more people would live life boldly and baldly. They'll be very happy with pursuing their potential without with minutes and moments and doubts. Everyone has doubts. We're going to talk ourselves, but minutes and moments, not days, weeks, months, and years, like the majority of the people on earth are walking with and through. So, man, Evan, we got to do more. Come join me on some of my shows, man. I completely miss you. I am sorry for not reaching out. I take accountability, but I will be back hunting you down to get more content with Evan.
I'm down, man. Listen, I remember when I met you in your office, we had this little moment where I said you were my spirit animal, and
Yeah.
and a week or two ago, I was doing a different session with Kira, and she's like, okay, like, what's your spirit animal? I'm thinking it's a jaguar or something. Like, no, my spirit animal is David Meltzer.
That's awesome.
True story.
Hell yeah. Beautifully said. Guys, I want to thank you both for creating the time at a weird off-peak hour for joining us tonight. I'm better for this. I know the audience as well. Love you guys so much. Evan, I can't wait to connect with you further. Dave, as always, thank you. Love you.
Keep doing good, guys. Keep doing good. I love you
Much
both.
love. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend, guys.
You got it. Take care.
The Paradigm Shift, episode 88 in the books. That was awesome, straight up. If you guys aren't familiar with Evan, do yourself a favor. Do a deep dive. He's clearly on fire. He's got a ton of great content, and you should definitely check out his book, Momentum. In regards to Dave, 2 a.m. in Saudi Arabia, I mean, talk about the relentless pursuit. Talk about consistency being a superpower. My goodness. Hope you guys have an unbelievable weekend. You had a great Thanksgiving. Sharpen the axe tonight. Do something that sets yourself up. Play chess. Do an audit on your Instagram or your social media. If there's anyone that's not providing value or is actually bleeding you as opposed to feeding you, maybe it's time to take some inventory and cut them out. And that's just the bottom line. You want to stay in that frequency, that high vibe, so that you could be a magnet and a vibrational match for all the good stuff out there that's for you, so that you can step into your power, make an impact, make a contribution, unapologetically make a lot of money. And as Evan said, show up boldly. You dig? Good to see everybody on tonight. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. We'll see you next week for the Paradigm Shift episode 89. Love you guys.